7. Not out. If bales don't fall, this one is a classic for a reason. Imagine you're a bowler, you've just delivered the perfect ball, it clips the stumps, and you hear that glorious clink. You turn to celebrate, but the bales, they're just sitting there. They light up like a Christmas tree, but they don't fall off. The batsman is inexplicably not out. It's a moment that defies logic. The ball has clearly disturbed the stumps with enough force to trigger the LED lights, but because those tiny wooden bales are feeling particularly stubborn, the batsman gets a second life. It's like the bales themselves decided to become an extra fielder. 6. The runner rule. A now obsolete rule that, in hindsight, feels like something you'd find in a backyard game. An injured batsman was allowed to have a teammate run for him while he hobbled around at the other end. Sounds fair, right? Well, it quickly became a loophole. Teams would use their fastest fielder as the runner, turning a limp into a sprint. Batsmen would feign injury just to get a fresh pair of legs, creating a tactical nightmare. The most famous example is probably during a test match in 1985 when Sunil Gavaskar got a runner and scored 104, much to the opposition's chagrin. This rule was thankfully abolished in 2011, and we now have more sensible concussion substitutes. 5. Deflection overthrow. This is one of the more subtle but equally infuriating rules. It's the one that gives runs to a ball that has deflected off a batsman's bat and then goes onto the boundary. Why is this so bad? Because it can feel like a reward for poor play. You get beaten by a perfect delivery, get a lucky edge, and the ball flies to the boundary for 4 runs. It's an accidental bonus, essentially punishing a fantastic piece of bowling. In the infamous 2019 World Cup final, a different overthrow rule was the main talking point, but the deflection overthrow has a long history of causing unfair moments and making commentators groan. 4. No wicket without appeal. This one is less about the rule itself and more about the strange human element it introduces. A batsman is clearly out, clean bowled. The stumps are in a mess. But if the fielding team, in their wild celebration, forgets to appeal, the batsman is not out. 3. The overthrow rule, and here we are, the one that still keeps cricket fans up at night. The rule that was not just bad, but was misapplied at the worst possible time. The scene. The final over of the 2019 World Cup final. A throw from the deep deflects off Ben Stokes' bat and goes to the boundary. The umpires, in a moment of pure confusion, award England 6 runs, 2 from the running and 4 for the boundary. The only problem? The batsman hadn't crossed on the second run, meaning they should have only been awarded 5 runs according to the laws. The umpires got it wrong, and it ultimately cost New Zealand the match. A perfectly good rule, made terrible by a critical human error. This moment is so painful it's still hard to watch. 2. Mankad Run Out. You knew this one was coming, the Mankad, the most controversial dismissal in cricket, and the one that constantly pits the letter of the law against the spirit of the game. The rule itself is simple. If the non-striker leaves his crease early, the bowler can run him out. But it is seen by many as a cheap, unsportsmanlike way to get a wicket. It's a debate that has raged for decades and continues to rage today. Vinu Mankad, the man it's named after, famously ran out an Australian batsman in 1947, and the controversy has been a part of cricket ever since. Is it fair? Is it cheating? We still don't have a clear answer, and that's precisely why it's one of the worst rules on the books. 1. The boundary count rule. And finally, at number 1, the rule that decided the greatest World Cup final of all time for all the wrong reasons. The scores are tied. The super over is tied. So how do you decide a World Cup champion? With a coin toss? A sudden death final over? No. You count the boundaries. The team that hit more 4s and 6s wins the World Cup. It's a rule that feels like something you'd make up on the playground. It discounts all the hard work, the brilliant bowling, and the pressure-packed singles that led to a tied match and a tied super over. It turned the greatest day in cricket into one of the most anticlimactic. The rule was thankfully changed just months later, but its legacy as the worst, most absurd, and most consequential rule in cricket history is forever secured.